Welcome. Despite the chaos and disaster that lurks in the shadowy corners, there is a consistent comfort that we can cling to. Music and this show. So welcome to my studios in Greenwich for a brand new series. On this show, we have wonderful new music from Manchester's Lone Lady, but also we have not one, but two great musical artists plundering my archives. One of my plunderers is a multi-talented man who is always reinventing his music, Damon Albarn. My second is Emeli Sande. Her wonderful voice and brilliant songwriting has seen her top the charts and trouser endless awards, including Brits, Ivor Novellos and Mobos. We'll be meeting her later, recently reunited, and will be touring the world at the end of the year. That was chosen by Emeli Sande, who we'll meet later in the show. But now, a polymath with an extraordinary broad musical career, from Blur to Gorillaz to The Good, the Bad and the Queen, to writing ravishing operas. He's truly a multi-talented artist. We stand and we welcome Damon Albarn. It's so great to have you back in this room, and I want you at this chair here because you're going to, I'm pleased to say, be playing two pieces for us.
Yeah.
And you were playing last night. In fact, you've come here, I believe, on the Eurostar this morning.
I have.
How's it travelling internationally?
Well, it wasn't actually that bad today. I think that's mainly because there just doesn't seem to be anyone from this country in Europe, so it was sort of empty. You know, it's
A cobweb train.
slightly.
Rather sad.
Slightly, yeah.
You've got a new record out. The nearer the fountain, the more the stream, the purer, more. Hang on.
The nearer the fountain, more pure the stream flows.
What a lovely title. Where does that come from?
It comes from John Clare. I'm sure you're familiar with. An early 19th century working class poet. You know, I suppose kind of. I wouldn't say he was. His language was like William Blake, but I feel that they've kind of. There's a kindred spirit about the two of them.
And have you used his words to inspire some of your songs?
I had my mum gave me this anthology years ago, John Clare, and I've always dipped into it. And I think at some point I must have just been so struck by that line, and I kind of wrote it. I wrote it in one of my notebooks, and then when I got this amazing offer to do whatever I wanted, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to go to Iceland and look out this window, which." I've been looking at for 20 years, and get a group of musicians and just kind of meditate with them and just play the landscape really and the changing atmospherics. I remembered this phrase and I sort of put it as the kind of working title. And then I felt, well, I should try and sort of honour John Clare a bit and try and use some of the music I'd made in Iceland and sing over the top of it. And it sort of turned out okay. But the whole record, it's only really the first bit where it starts with John Clare and then it goes off.
Very hauntingly beautiful. Would you play something of that now for us?
Sure.
So
yeah.
what is this you're going to play for us?
I'm going to play Royal Morning Blue.
Please give us that now.
Rain turning into snow. You put on your robes and disappear. Into new realities. Thoughts and memories stay by your side. Royal morning blue, you are saved, and nothing like this had ever happened before. I'm saved Royal morning blue. Running out of the things sent to give us wings to fly away. Into royal morning blue, memories of you, the end of the world. Stay by my side, the end of the world. Stay by my side, royal morning blue.
That was wonderful. I think you've been performing these songs in some unusual spaces, haven't you, for songs? Done something at the Globe Theatre?
Globe Theatre, yeah. I mean, wow, I recommend everyone to play at the Globe. I think everyone was kind of shocked, the people who run the Globe, the audience, us, at how perfect it actually is for music, because it's a wooden structure, so it vibrates.
Like a giant musical instrument,
it's
almost.
like a giant musical instrument, exactly. It was fantastic. I loved it. It's a little, I mean, a little bit chilly, I suppose, because it's open roofed, but no, it's brilliant.
What great.
Beautiful, and it being in the run, it's like a sort of a wooden Elizabethan Albert Hall. Really.
Yeah, yeah, how fantastic.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, really great,
Really
great building.
Everyone should play there.
And you've chosen a piece of archive, which is of Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I love Willie Nelson, and just always felt he was kind of sort of, you know, he's always been counterculture, hasn't he? He's never sort of, he's never sold out at all, and he's still like, well, I don't know what age he was when he did this, but I mean, look, from first glance, he looked fairly, you know, senior.
And this is 1996.
There you
when
go.
he came on, and he was fantastic. He had his sister with him, playing with him. And I remember, as well as this piece, we did a bit of Nightlife, which B.B. King did, like became a blues standard. I mean, he's written so many
Ridiculous amount of brilliant songs.
You know, I mean, he's like probably one of the greatest country songwriters. But you're right, he's like, there's an edge to him.
And he's wearing this amazing thing which took me ages to work out. It looks like a sort of rosette, but actually it's a guitar strap, but it goes underneath the guitar.
I'm not trying to forget you anymore. I've got back into remembering all the love we had before. And I've been trying to forget someone that my heart still adores. So I'm not trying to forget you anymore. You're just someone who brought happiness into my life, and it did not last forever. Oh, but that's all right. We were always more than lovers, and I'm still your friend. And if I had the chance, I'd do it all again. So I'm not trying to forget you anymore. I've got back into remembering all the love we had before. And the best day of my life is still when you walk through my door. So I'm not trying to forget you anymore. You're just someone who brought happiness into my life, and it did not last forever. Oh, but that's all right. We were always more than lovers, and I'm still your friend. And if I had the chance, I'd do it all again. So I'm not trying to forget you anymore. I've got back into remembering all the love we had before. I've been trying to forget someone that my heart still adores. So I'm not trying to forget you anymore. I'm not trying to forget you anymore.
Willie Nelson from 1996. In fact, I knew that was 1996 because I got him to sign a guitar for me. Because I thought it was so great. He had this bashed up nylon string guitar. I thought, I've got a bashed up nylon string guitar. And he signed it for me.
Did you have a strap like that?
No, I wanted to get one after he'd been on, because that's part of it. You see, I thought, I want to be him now for a little bit. He was after he was on, I wanted to be him for about a year. But out of interest, so I read this the other day. George Simenon, a French writer, another writer said to him, so when did you choose your character? And George Simenon, who'd written Maygrave, thought he was talking about Maygrave, but he wasn't.
No.
He said no. He said, when did you choose the person that you... Is there a person that you saw when you were young and you thought, I want to be that person? And if you look throughout their lives, they are that, but they do become that person once in a while. Is there a person that you wanted to be?
Momentarily, lots of people. I mean, I definitely wanted to be Adamant for about a month.
Good answer.
Obviously, David, I've always wanted to sort of be in the shadow of David Bowie somewhere, you know. Terry Hall was really impressed me at that age. But if it's all of that age, though, I don't know. Maybe I wanted to be Shaun Ryder as well, briefly. I've only wanted to be people briefly.
Yeah, but that's all right. I think maybe
Ray Charles. I wouldn't mind being Ray Charles.
Yeah, I fancy it. Billy Preston told me when he was young, he practiced being Ray Charles for half an hour every day.
Wow.
He just practiced being him and playing like him, and he thought I'd just be him for half an hour a day. That's taking it a bit more seriously than just sort of half thinking about.
I definitely think of Ray Charles every time I sit at the piano. So maybe I'm practicing to be Ray Charles, but I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous.
Well, no, you take a
notion.
No, but you take a bit of all those people.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
You take a little bit of all those people that you thought were kind of that you saw when you were growing up, and you thought that's whoever you are, whatever persons you looked at.
I've lost that now. I kind of sort of. I think I'm on myself now.
Exactly. It takes a while to find yourself, and that's when there'll be younger people thinking, "Oh, I'd like to be like him." Maybe. Who knows?
That's a terrifying thought.
Who knows? Well, you're going to play a Blur song for us now.
Yeah.
Which one?
I haven't played this for years. I've never played it on the piano. It's from 13. It's No Distance Left to Run. I'll give it a go, see what it sounds like.
Great song. Well, it's been lovely having you as our guest here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Damon Albarn.
Thank you.
It's over. You don't need to tell me. I hope you're with someone who makes you feel safe and you're sleeping tonight. I won't kill myself myself trying to stay in your life. I got no distance left to run. When you see me, turn your back and walk away. I don't want to see you, 'cause I know the dreams that you keep is where we meet. And when you're coming down, think of me here. I got no distance left to run. It's over. I knew it would end this way. I hope you're with someone who makes you feel this life is alive. Someone who settles down, stays around, spends more time with you. I got no distance left to run.
Thank you, Damon Albarn. Next, an artist who is making her debut on the show. We filmed her in Manchester's Brunswick Mill, which is part of the industrial landscape that inspires her music. Please welcome Lone Lady.
Turning in logic. There is no logic. And there is no logic. You know there is no logic. And there is no logic. You know there is no logic.
Thank you, Lone Lady. And now I'm delighted to welcome the person I mentioned earlier, the wonderful Emeli Sande.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Now, we've got something you've picked in a moment, but let's go back to your first choice, which we saw at the beginning of the show, which was the Fugees. Tell us about why you picked that.
I've been a big fan of the Fugees since I was a teenager, and I just think they're so original, so dynamic, and I remember seeing them on the show. Just blown away. There's such sparseness in their music, but it still is so powerful, and their choice of words, everything. And then Lauryn Hill in the middle, I just think they're the perfect group, and I'm so happy they're getting back together. I'm hoping I can get to the show next year.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And yes, you've got all those things together, and on top of that, Lauryn Hill's voice is like amazing, sort of
So incredible.
fantastic voice.
I mean, when I was younger, I was, first introduced to the big divas by my dad, the Mariahs, the Whitneys. But when I heard Lauryn Hill's voice, it just taught me a lot about you don't always have to push so much to have the same response and to still be powerful. There's so much in the tone. So Lauryn Hill, I've been a fan of her, from the very beginning.
And when you said your dad was showing you the divas, what was your first introduction to music? What was the first music you heard?
Music Box by Mariah Carey. That was when I first really wanted to be a singer, and reading that she'd written all the lyrics and she'd been so involved in the making of it inspired me to be a songwriter as well. Celine Dion, Anita Baker as well. My dad actually cut my hair to try and look like her, some of my friends, but it didn't quite turn out as good as hers. But the power and also the spirituality of the performance. And that was the first thing that my dad said, you can't care about how you look on stage. It has to be about the sound you're making. And so it was great inspiration from the beginning.
And so you took up the piano, age 13, 14.
Yeah.
And what brought you to the piano? Did you have one at home?
Not at the beginning. My friend had a piano at her house, so whenever I went over there, I'd be so excited to play it. And, we had a keyboard in our classroom, but there's just something about playing a real piano. I love the vibration of the wood. And I just, when we finally got a piano, my friend's dad, who owned a music shop, he knew about a free piano that was going. So when I got it at 13, I just became completely obsessed and hooked on it. I just would run back from school just to play it for the rest of the night. And I'd be listening to Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin, trying to work out what they were doing, because initially it was all self-taught. And then eventually I got piano lessons, and it was so interesting. He taught me a lot about the similarities between classical music and jazz and pop music and where it's all rooted. And I'm glad I kind of got that knowledge of the theory as well.
And of course, the piano is also the songwriter's main tool. And you've just finished a new record, which is a wonderful new record, which we're going to see a bit of in a moment. But is the piano the thing that you use to write on?
Yes, usually. I mean, sometimes guitar I can get by and write a song, but piano, I feel there's so many colours to explore, and especially the harmony you can get out of a piano. So I love it. And, having had this time now to slow down and really focus more on the music, I've had time to take more classical piano lessons and focus more on the melody. Because I think sometimes as a songwriter, we get caught up on the lyric and how it's going to be performed vocally. But to kind of tell myself to shut up for a minute and really just try and express myself just through my fingers has been really inspiring for me.
So what's the song that we're going to see now?
It was called Family, and I wrote this with a fantastic producer-engineer called Henry Davies. And it was kind of, it just flowed out, this lyric. I mean, I guess we've all had a lot more time to think and contemplate, and these lyrics just came out almost like a, journal entry.
Let's have a look.
Well, the sun is out and the family's good, and we living life like we always knew we could. It's lovely. I took a little time out just to meditate, and my spirit said, why you always late? I'm sorry. I got a need for speed and a head for dreams, but I had to slow down, see the wood for the trees, breathe easy. Yeah. But now my energy's on 110, and I'm never gonna let them bring me down again. Believe me. No red light or dark man can't stop me. No, no matter how tall can blind me.
Family. Thank you, Emeli Sande. Marvellous film there. Also, rather interesting pieces of dance there. Are you a keen dancist?
I have been, and you know, especially now treating this as kind of a new beginning, I thought, why not try things I haven't done before? And I worked with a fantastic choreographer called Liv Lockwood. And what I loved was she really designed the dance over how I was singing. Instead of being on the beat, it was more about the vocal riffs and vocal trills. So for me, it just made it so much easier to pick up the dance moves because, you know, I was thinking of a singer and it all translated in the body. So I had a great time.
The next person you've chosen is Regina Spektor.
Yes.
Tell us about what you like about her.
Regina Spektor, when I was living in Aberdeen, it was kind of between, I just finished high school and I had a gap year before I went to uni, and I worked in Virgin Megastores. And so, you know, all the time you'd be kind of rearranging the CDs into alphabetical order, and her name popped up there. And I remember taking the CD and having listened to her, and I just was really blown away by, it was the first album she had, Soviet Kitsch. And I love the simplicity of it. Again, she was playing piano, but she was doing it in such a unusual, original way. She was, you know, banging on the piano, playing these beautiful chords that were mixing a lot of her kind of classical influence with pop music. And I love when that fusion's made. And then I just thought lyrically she was so poetic as well. And I became a big fan. I saw her live in Glasgow 2 times actually. And there's a real haunting texture and sound to her voice, her playing. I'm a big fan of hers.
And of course, her family is Russian, and I believe it's her father's a violinist, and I think her mother's a music teacher.
Right.
But they have that. I kind of think there's some of those Russian musicians are amazing because they have that commitment to learning classical music.
Yes.
It's like goes beyond what anybody, what people can do, and I think maybe that comes out, but somehow that's sort of whittled into her.
Yes.
Sort of amazing playing.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, as a songwriter, you're always trying to find different approaches to how to write music in, you know, different, more interesting ways. And yeah, like you said, the classical influence there, just when you don't expect it, she gives you this chord that kind of shakes you up a little bit. And I love that she was on your show. I love this performance.
The light was shining in my eyes before I closed them, and all the dreams I had the night before came back. The faces that I'd seen looked so familiar, but they're just strangers, I haven't met them yet. I know the morning is wiser than the evening. I know that wrong and right can sometimes look the same. So many things I know, but they don't help me. Each day I open up my eyes and start again. The light comes shining in my eyes. 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 So many stories I want to tell you. I wish that I could show you the many things I've seen. You and your daddy, you both look like poets. Your eyes are open wide while you are in a dream. I know the morning is wiser than the nighttime. I know there's nothing wrong, I shouldn't feel so down. So many things I know, but they don't help me. Each day I open up my eyes to look around. The sun comes shining in my eyes. The sun comes shining in my eyes. The sun comes shining in my eyes. The The sun comes shining and my eyes are closed now. Count the stars inside your mind. Count the breaths. Count heartbeats. Count the sounds of life. The light was shining in my eyes before I closed them, and all the dreams I had the night before were gone. The faces that I'd seen looked so familiar, but I forgot them all when I saw the sun. I know the morning is wiser than the evening. I know that all of life just happens in between. So many things I know, but they don't help me. Each day I open up my eyes and it begins. The light comes shining in my eyes. 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 The light, the light, the light, the light, the light.
Wonderful Regina Spektor, chosen by our guest, the incredibly talented Emeli Sande, who's here. It's very nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
And in this last year and a half, it's given me an opportunity to listen to a lot more music. Have you found any new things or found any old things that you didn't know about?
Yeah, a lot of old music actually. Delving deeper into classical music and opera via Maria Callas, my friend from university. She sent me a performance of hers, and I can't believe I hadn't heard of her prior to 2 years ago. And it just started this massive kind of love affair with her. I wanted to see all her performances, her interviews I found incredibly interesting because she really came from a perspective of a musician, and it's not often you get to hear singers with such in-depth musical knowledge. And she was really the person that inspired me to want to learn more on the piano and push my voice in different ways. She has such an energy when she sings, and prior to discovering her, I hadn't really listened to that much opera, but there's something very special and unique about how she approaches it and how you can hear her soul in her voice. So Maria Callas, a lot of her, and a lot of classical piano music. And then also, bringing it up to now, a lot of electronic music, Bicep, I love, Jamie XX, and just melody being used minimally is really starting to fascinate me, and it's really helped with my production as well. So yeah.
It's interesting what you say about Maria Callas because, of course, sometimes people say it's the singer, not the song. It's a way that, you can have a great song, but when a certain singer sings that song,
yes,
then you, the listener, goes, wow, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Whereas you might have heard the song before, but when one person sings it, and I think maybe Maria Callas and some of the great singers have that thing about their voice. Would you ever think about singing opera music yourself?
Well, I have thought about it a lot recently, and, obviously I'd need more training in that area, a lot more training, but it's something I'm going to try. Actually, next month I'm going to do my first performance singing some opera, so we'll see how that goes.
What are you going to sing?
Mio Babino Caro, which, I've been inspired by Maria Callas to do so we'll see how it goes.
That is great. Well, you've been quite modest because you have an incredible voice. I think you could sing opera. I think you sing anything. But somebody's got a great voice, they can sing anything. But you've written some great songs. I love that song of yours, Next to Me. So perhaps we could give that a go now.
Yeah, let's do it.
You won't find drinking under tables, rolling dice, or staying out till 3. No, you won't ever find him be unfaithful. You will find him, you'll find him next to me. You won't find him trying to chase the devil for money, fame, for power, how to greed. No, you won't ever find him where the rest go. You will find him, you'll find him next to me. Next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, next to me. Ooh, you will find him, you'll find him next to me. When the money's spent and all my friends are vanished, and I can't seem to find no help or love for free, well, I know there's no need for me to panic, 'cause I'll find him next to me. When the skies are gray and all the doors are closing, and the rising pressure makes it hard to breathe, when all I need's a hand to stop the tears from falling, I will find him, I'll find him next to me. Next to me. Next to me. Next to me. I'll find him next to me. When the years come and buildings falling down fast, when we spoiled the